Hi everyone, today we'll be doing a freedom bird montage. In your kit, you will have birds, okay? And you can paint your bird however you like. So one of the bird you see is tied down by a thread that says lies. And this bird is free because it's carrying truth, okay? So for me, I'm going to paint this bird to be happy. So for me, happy color is bright yellow, just happy color. And this one, you can see because it cannot fly away from the tree, it's crying. So I'm gonna make this bird a little more grayish and a muddy color, okay? So, and then you can add any design that you want. So if you have any waterproof pen, you can write your name on it. I will write my name on it, Mary. And then I can do flower. So when I am free, I'm full of joy. And I'm gonna put hearts here, and maybe some leaves. So you can design it however you want. Sometimes less is more, but you can express who you are because hopefully you know the truth, and the truth has set you free, and this bird is you. Okay? And I think of, what does that mean? For example, I had a fight with my husband. I told him about what to do for one of my class. I was teaching a class on Zoom, and I needed him to assist my kids in following along in my class. And he took time off from his work for an hour so that he can help them. But then he didn't really listen to what I said, and so some of the things I asked him to prepare, he missed it, and I ended up having to help prepare for my children while teaching the class. I was really mad inside, and I felt, he never listens, and then I felt like, he doesn't love me because he doesn't listen. And then I was asking God, is that true? Is he always like that? Why am I feeling so mad right now? And then I could hear God saying to me, he took his time off from work because he cared and he wants to help me out. And true, he did not hear what I said well enough, but the important part is he was willing. Okay, so that helped me stay away from being mad at him for too long. And because when I'm mad, I can get really angry and I can get very loud, and it's never good. So because of what God told me, I was able to think of, that's right, he took time off from work and he helped my children throughout my class. And even though the setup was not perfect, but they got through no problem. So I was glad that I could hear God telling me His truth. And also I remember in the Bible verse that Paul tells us to keep in mind, to keep thinking of what's good, what's notable, what's worthy, and what's good, instead of dwelling on the bad thing. So I did that, and that our relationship didn't become harmed during my time when I was frustrated. Okay, so you see I just painted my branch. So I used the base color. It's a wet on dry technique. I just painted it like that. I used brown as my base, and I added some shade of black. Not everywhere, just some of the areas that you think should be darker. And then I added a shade of blue just to make it more interesting, to have some more variation in the branches. Okay? Alright, now I'm ready to paint my sad bird. Alright, so my sad bird, what do you think the color should be? I don't know. Let's make it wet first. Maybe it's gonna be let's make it half sad. So you're gonna cut these out, so it's okay if you paint outside the area. We're gonna cut them out when they're dry. Okay, and now I have my happy bird. So I'm gonna paint this part. Okay, and then so that's the reason why we need to use waterproof pen, is because you don't want the ink to start smudging while you're applying paint and water to it. So for me, the bird is happy and it's full of light color. I'm gonna give it lots of color. Sure you don't mix the opposite complementary colors. Okay. Alright, so I like that. Now I'm going to paint my leaves. Outside a little bit, because we can cut it out and add some yellow to it. So you can add color into it while it's still wet, because leaves usually has many shades to it. It's not just one type of green. Okay, and I'm gonna add a little brown. If you don't like it, you can always, I'm gonna highlight the truth part. Just gonna dab. Alright, I like that. Okay, and now I'm gonna use my smaller round 6. I'm gonna add the stem. Okay, so it's gonna be green and purple. Now we will wait for it to dry. While it dries, we will work on our background. So here you can see I have two example backgrounds. So depending on the color that you choose, you would create different backgrounds. I'm gonna paint sky and with blue sky with clouds. So here I'm just gonna use my flat brush and with clean water, I'm just gonna do some strokes like zigzag. Make sure your brush is really wet. We're gonna do irregular wet on wet, so to create the sky with blue sky with some clouds. Okay, now some areas are more wet than the other. That's okay. Now let's activate some of the blue paint. Okay, all right, and then I'm just gonna go back and then apply it to the wet area. So I'm gonna do this and just do the same zigzag looking stroke. Okay, it's okay to leave some place white. In fact, that's what we want. Okay, and now we'll rinse our brush. Okay, and now get some paper towel and I clump it together, make it kind of fluffy. Okay, and we're just gonna go in and then dab irregularly. Okay, so to make the cloud shape. Okay, so okay. All right, I think I'm happy with that. Okay, we're not making any really big looking cloud. It's gonna be a very sunny day with very few clouds. And then if you don't like some of the rough edges, you can always go back, apply some clean water, and then spread out the paint. Or if you have a spray bottle, that will work as well. Alright, so that's our cloud. Alright, and for our painting today, we're also going to create some green grassy field landscape. So we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to use our smaller medium sized round brush. Okay, so I have a size 10 here. You probably have a size 6 in your pack. Alright, and this time I'm also going to use some clean water on my brush. Okay, and I'm going to use the side of my brush, and I'm gonna do long zigzag lines like that. It's okay if your whole sheet is not wet, it's fine. We're gonna create some very abstract landscape today. And now, and with the same brush this time, not too much water, so dab some away, and then grab some green. If you like the green to be a little bit less green, you can add a little yellow. That will give you a more natural green. So we'll do that. So add some water to activate your paint. Bring it to your clear portion, your palette. So that gives you a yellow green. Okay? Alright, so I'm going to go back to do this. Okay, and now grass doesn't just come in green, right? So as you know, sometimes some parts of the grass doesn't have water, so they can become brown. So I'm gonna grab some of more of the green paint, and this time I'm going to add brown to it. So it's gonna be a little bit muddy, dark green. Doesn't look too appealing, but it's okay. So this will add some depth, so we're going the opposite direction, okay? Alright, that's good. So now, okay, and now if you want to add flower to your landscape, we can do some splattering. But before that, I would like to use a spray bottle. I'm just gonna add some interest. So some of the areas, I'm just gonna do a little bit of this. Okay, to give it some interest. Alright, and you can tip it. Just let the paint flow. Okay, so that will create a very soft, natural green. Okay. Okay. Now we have our paper towel. We'll dab away extra fluid. Okay. So that's our first part. Dry now. Okay. So now can create some bushes just to create a little bit of variation in the landscape. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to use my round brush again, my size 10. If you have a bigger brush, that would be great, and just use clean water. And now we're gonna wet the area where the grass field is touching the sky. Okay, so I'm just gonna do bushes. Do the same. I'm gonna start from tall to little to short. You know how perspective works. Things that's closer to you are taller and bigger, and things are further away from you are, that's right, smaller. Alright, so now what do you think our bush is gonna be? So I like this kind of brownish blue color brownish green color that we have created. Okay, and then maybe just a touch more brown. It's a very muted color. Alright, and I'm gonna add it here. Just put it into the area where you just wetted, just on one side. Okay, we'll let it sit for a little bit. Okay. Alright, and the other side, we want to make it a little bit different. Let's see. So this time I'm gonna add purple to it. Okay, so we're gonna add it. So this is not exactly brown, it's more like a brown with a little bit of purplish tone to it. Okay, and then we're gonna let it intersect. So I'm gonna bring some of the brown here. If you're out of color, just mix more. Add clean water to it. Bring it to your palette, and then add more color to it. When it's really creamy, kind of like, what would you call it? Like melted ice cream, then it's gonna be deep enough. So I just want to add some interest to it, okay? Going to soften this by just use clean water and just add it to the edge so that it's not a very sharp line. Now I'm going to add some of the greenish blue. Remember, we're gonna create some ice cream looking, melted ice cream looking color in here, okay? And then a little purple. Okay, and then we're gonna start from here. And make it smaller. Maybe it might be a little bit too bright. It's okay. I'm just gonna cut it out. And it's easier to cut out the big shape first, and then work on the smaller shape. Now they're ready to be glued onto your background. You just want to make sure your background is completely dry before you do that. Okay? Alright, and I pray that you enjoyed today's lesson and that you get to know the truth so that it can set you free. You know, Jesus will tell you the truth if you talk to him and listen to what he has to say. Because he said, if you hold to my teaching, you are really my disciples, then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free.